This conference will now be recorded.
Great. All right. So it looks like it's just three of us right now. How you doing, Jeff? How you doing, Michael? Good New Year's holidays.
Survive the holidays.
Survive the holidays. That's good. Yeah, that's always progress. Survival's progress. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
About the same here. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of slowly getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah. Did either of you guys get sick?
I did not. No,
No,
escaped that.
yeah, no, me either.
Yeah, no, I actually did. I had traveled to Colorado, and I think it was from the flight. I got a positive test, and I would never even know it because I didn't have a symptom. So it's kind of a homage to the vaccine. So I'm happy about
Mm.
that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I had a similar experience back in October. I actually caught COVID, but yeah, it was relatively mild. So yeah, good testament to vaccine efficacy there.
right,
It was good. It's good.
right. All right. So let's go ahead and just get started. Again, just hope everybody had a good holiday, good break, got some time for family and relaxation. Here we are in the new year. We made it. So I'm pretty excited for what we could do this year. I feel like it's always new year, fresh start. Uh, we talked about this last time, and I'm glad I have you on the phone too, Michael. And oh, sorry, I should just point out this is the OCP ECS call, Enterprise Connectivity Solutions. We have this first call of the year now. We took a little break for the holidays for a couple of meetings. So, anywho, Michael, I'm glad I have you on the phone. So I am in the process, and would like your support too to just develop a little bit of a schedule. I have ideas, and this is going to be for working sessions. Going to be a one a month is what I am thinking right now. It is going to be on specific topics, and so I just wanted to check to see if you just have the capacity to just help me with that. It's just sending invites and create the content and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack, maybe we
Great.
can set something up offline. We can
Great.
go through the logistics and
Perfect.
whatever you need.
All right, thank you. All right, so that being said, let me dive into that a little bit. So we had discussed in previous meetings getting these working sessions kind of off the ground. And they're working sessions to really enable enterprise. I have gone through during the break and combed through all of my sort of artifacts of enterprise deployments and sanitize them so we could either use those as a base for these artifacts that we'd like to contribute, or there's also the possibility that anybody who is in attendance could also bring what anything that they have. So really the idea is just to get sort of a base of kind of knowledge together on these topics. And again, those working sessions, I'm thinking probably have maybe an hour block, maybe 2 hour block. We'll see, depending. And really focusing on actually live, going through anything that I have, or anything that people can bring to the meetings is much appreciated too. So that we could kind of just get a corpus together, a package together of here's what it's like. So this first one will kick off. Try to plan it for mid-February, kind of between the two meetings that we have bi-monthly meetings. And yeah, just really try to churn out and focus on getting something that we could give to either partners existing OCP partners who are doing this themselves, or vendors who might be getting these requests or looking into this OCP hardware and want an idea of where to start. Let's see. Yes, on that topic too. I also have another request, just to keep your ear to the ground, and I'll do the same. Another asset or way to go about this would be any OCP deployments that are taking place during this year, quarter. I'd like to see if there's an opportunity there to shadow. I'm also myself going to be trying to pitch to my clients OCP technology. So whether that's through one of our partners here or something I can come up with, I would like shadowing, and during that time also developing these and sort of making sure that they're sane, and any parts that are missing from it that were done on the tabletop get kind of placed in, because you always miss something. So yeah, lot of information. Sorry about that. Kind of a data dump. But certainly I know some of our partners now, there's a retail partner or two who have already deployed in last year, and probably will be deploying some more OCP hardware in enterprises. So kind of like it's just reiterating, shadowing, trying to gather that documentation. I certainly have cycles for it. I think it's a really important positive progress of this sort of thing in this group, because we just it's needed. So and one other thing, and then I'll kind of open it up for questions or comments. In that vein as well, if folks on this call could also, again, keep their ear to the ground for an opportunity of I'm thinking the other way to go about this is labbing it up as well. And so if anybody has, or anybody knows of someone who has some just spare capacity in a rack to sort of lab up some of these things, that's also a nice low risk, high reward way to put together these documents and just kind of flush out what a architecture would look like for a branch, what the hub would look like, all these pieces that I'm sure people out there are doing it, and we just have to do it as well and then document it along the way. So again, just to ask, any lab space would be much appreciated, and to that end too, I guess hardware, but I guess focusing first on one step at a time, and it would require probably about I'm thinking about half a rack would be very generous, and probably segmented network. Probably need a public to test things out, and yeah, that's what I got. So open it up if anybody wants to chime in, please feel free.
Yeah, just a question. When you say OCP hardware
Mm-hmm.
for enterprise installations, what exact hardware are you thinking about?
Yeah, sure. So, your layer 2, layer 3 switching. Not your data center. Maybe 1 gig, 40 gig. Maybe backhaul with 100 maybe, but really for a branch, you probably get a still see 1 gig 48 port, and 10 gig uplinks. So that there's a lot of x86 little branch boxes that can do your SD-WAN, act as your router for contacting back to the mothership. And then on the mothership side, some beefy routers. And again, x86 would be where we're going with that. So yeah, I mean, and if that's hardware, software wise, still hashing out, and I expect part of this will be putting it together, evaluating, or putting the architecture in, but kind of taking it from a top-down approach of hey, we got space, we got the hardware, we can do this. Access points probably as well. I'm kind of hesitant right now to say access points, only because when we're talking about a rack space, that could be a little challenging. Maybe even something like my home here connecting there, with an access point here or something. I'm sure we could figure it out. But some of that data center RF space I want to keep clean. So does that answer just about what you were thinking?
Well, I understand. I think I understand anyway. The different sections and the use
Yeah.
cases. I just don't know if there's any OCP hardware that meets that criteria. I don't
Right.
know.
And for it to be qualified, I don't think there's a lot of stringent requirements right now. And what I'm mainly referencing is what's been happening in the open firmware, and that really it does make it a little bit harder to have a system that meets OCP requirements, only because that open firmware has to be developed by somebody. Now, for right now, it is only servers that are meeting that, because this is a type of network equipment. It can have its proprietary BIOS, etc. So there's a level of switch out there. I've seen the edge core ones that meet these. I might even have some around here. That have a x86 controller side. Have Sonic inside built for them, working and tested. That's kind of where I'm going for on the branch side. And then again, small x86 box that's going to act as your branch router, a couple of interfaces for inside, outside, and connecting up to the uplinks from the switches. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At least that's what I'm envisioning. Maybe I'm ambitious or totally off, but I think it's out there. It's just a matter of calling it retail, calling it OCP, getting it. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, the other thing is for the head end, right? Back in the data centers for its enterprise clients. I mean, it's almost the same thing, just beefier, right? Talking about x86 routing, some sort of Broadcom or I guess, is it NVIDIA now, or is it they still calling it Mellanox? Packet processing chipset, and just throughput, just being able to handle those loads. And they make them in 1U boxes with again your 10 gig, 40 gig interfaces that will have enough bandwidth to handle a thousand branch situations. So. And then again, we're lucky that it's still called a network appliance, and therefore doesn't have the requirement right now to have the open system firmware on it. So really, there's a lot of things you could squint at, and they kind of meet the criteria to call a potential OCP networking appliance. So yeah. Any other questions? Hey,
Jack. And
hey,
I guess
Archie.
this is a question for really Jeff too. I know that it may not be possible to get, like you were saying, a pure OCP solution, for lack of a better word, but is there a way that we could put like a reference architecture together that would be some sort of a hybridized approach and just publish it as possible solution for anyone looking for enterprise, right? Like, I'm just thinking, customers like Target out there, they don't know how to put all these puzzle pieces together, and they may not get it all at OCP. So could we put an RA together that would have, I don't know, something from Cisco, maybe something from Juniper, I don't know, right? Along with other stuff that's OCP, and then have it running Sonic for enterprise or ArcOS Sonic or whatever, right?
No, I think that's a good idea. I think as you were talking through that, I was thinking that perhaps leveraging what we can from OCP gear, whether that's a piece of hardware that's OCP accepted or inspired, or maybe a piece of hardware that isn't, that happens to run Sonic, right? That would be considered OCP. And for those devices, for the different use cases that we have neither an OCP hardware or software solution, I guess that would kind of call out where some potential contributions might be needed for that solution.
Right. No, that's a really good call out. Mm-hmm.
Like the gaps, if you will, right? Because I don't know what that would be.
Right. And that's a really good point, Archana, too, because there's no, it's all brownfield, which, just means, there's already, an existing network, right? And this has to bolt onto it. It has to interoperate with, your Cisco's, your Palo Altos, anything a data center has already that, the network security team, has qualified and deployed. It's got to interoperate. So, regardless, we need to hash out those solutions. The only thing that is a challenge there too is getting participation from the folks like Cisco's and so forth in order to, if we would go the lab route, right? If we're going just retail, customer shadowing, helping them and getting the deployment docs created, then maybe okay. But Do we have relationships right now with any folks like that, like the Cisco's or any of the large network vendors?
Yeah.
We do, yeah.
Okay,
They
all
are
right.
members. They are members of
Great,
OCP, but
great.
but having said that, we haven't really worked with them around a reference architecture, right? We haven't
Mm,
invited them to that kind of
mm,
environment because, like, and Jeff knows this, right? Like, the first question the IC is going to ask is, okay, what about this is open? Well, it's a hybrid. So there might be
mm.
aspects of it that may be open, and there might be aspects of it that's not open. So I think we should be open to that because no one out there is going to
Yes.
find something completely OCP right now. We just
No,
don't
and there's
have
not
it.
right, and nobody's going to run completely OCP right now. It's gonna take adoption time and getting comfortable with it. Kicking the tires before you might replace everything, go all in. Yeah, you're going to have You're going to pick something that is in one of those use cases and has some compelling reason to go OCP, and that's going to be your first deployment of it to get the foot in the door, so to speak.
Right.
Totally. I mean, this is a great idea. I think
And I
who
think that that would also get, like, because as part of our ecosystem, we do offer, getting contribution exposure to reference architectures, right?
mhm,
And we
right.
talk about it, pretty openly. But up until now, it's always been, hey, reference architecture around OCP, right? But
Hmm.
I also now feel that if you could have maybe two out of that solution, whatever that
Hmm.
solution is, if say 50% of the content is
Hmm.
OCP, or even
Right.
two of those SKUs are
Right.
OCP. I don't care if they use a NIC card in there and
Hmm.
they use like an edge core switch or a UFI space switch or a Ragile network switch that interoperates with a Cisco switch or a router
Hmm.
or a
Right.
something else, right? Then I think that we should be able to figure out, hey, can you interoperate these two nodes? Um, what kind of fiber modules are you using, right?
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, and
so,
that's where you find all the weird kinks and quirks and the exact things that you're going to run into in the enterprise. Like I said, nothing's greenfield really these days anymore. It's a great idea. I really like it, and especially when you look at the again compelling reasons to go this route. One of them might be cost also, or just control, right? Or capabilities. So
or
and
it
and,
might be
and
features. It might be features like we found
features,
out,
yeah,
right? Like, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, capabilities, features. Hmm.
yeah, Target was very open. Hey, they needed power over Ethernet for
Yeah,
enterprise, and they were not
yeah,
finding it anywhere. And so
yeah,
when they're looking at a switch, the first question they're asking is, okay, not the 400 gig. What are
yeah.
you doing in the 1 to 20?
Yes. No, yeah, and that's exactly what it is, and that's where it could really shine as well, because when you're talking volume wise, if you have like Target, all these stores, if on the 1 gig or the say the branch side, right, the store side, if you go with something, OCP, there's going to be huge savings there, and there's going to be huge capabilities that you are not going to be able to do with some of these other products. And as long as they interoperate, you've now saved, a couple of, $1 million, and you're going to look good, and we're going to look good. Everybody's going to be happy. So that's a really compelling idea.
So just I don't know. That's just my 2 cents is starting to
Yes.
take a look at how do we do this in
Yes.
a
That's
collaborative manner, right?
yeah, that's a good idea, and we do have a couple member companies,
Yes.
Target and Amazon now.
Yes.
Maybe one of the meetings you were referencing, Jack. Maybe
Hmm.
one or more of those could be inviting
Architecture.
architect, right? A blueprint.
Mhm.
Okay, here's the types of devices are needed, and just a stick figure diagram of the different locations, and then follow that up with actually placing devices into those, locations in the diagram after.
Yeah, and I've got oodles of like I said over the break, I went over things I have,
Hmm.
just to sanitize them, and I've got oodles of things that I could pull up, and like I said, if anybody wants to also bring things, it'd be great. Um, you had me thinking there for a second on. Oh yeah, so Archna, do you do you have anybody from Cisco, for example? Let's just start somewhere
Yeah,
where
I do.
you could
Yep.
connect me to, and we could just have a first meeting that we could talk about these things and see kind of feel out the interest a little bit.
Yeah. The guy that gave the keynote at
Mm,
OCP
yes.
Summit, let's start with him.
Hmm.
Rakesh was
What
really
what is
good.
he level wise? He's a
He's a senior principal architect, I
senior
think.
prince. Oh, okay, great. Senior principal
I
architect. Okay.
think. Let me
Yeah,
let me
sure.
just look him up.
Yeah,
Rakesh.
but that's a good. Yeah, that's a good one then. Yeah.
Okay, so he is, yeah, his Silicon One marketing.
Mhm.
I don't know. He's a Cisco fellow.
Okay. Yeah, fellow. Yeah, then that's a good place to start. I think.
And if not, then
Yeah.
he'll be able to find somebody else.
Yeah.
And then I think,
Right.
Michael, you're on the call. We could find out who the point person is for Cisco
Hmm.
for our membership and at least get those two conversations going. The other place to start also, Jack, is Juniper comes to OCP a lot at our
Juniper.
summits,
Hmm.
and they love to talk about Sonic, right?
Hmm.
But again, it's on proprietary gear. So let me
Hmm.
go back and take a look as far as Juniper is concerned. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I mean, one thing I'll say too is that they are, yeah, if they're running like a Sonic, yeah, like proprietary, there's still an ability there if you have a Sonic on the other end to
mhm.
make the handshake, hopefully. So
Well, exactly. Then, as
mm,
we start looking at, other members, right,
mm,
from our membership directory, I'm just going off the membership directory right now.
right.
Um, there are folks that are looking at, Arista. That's another one,
Yeah.
right? What do you call it? Now you start getting into more the enterprise, like an ASUS or an
Yeah.
HPE.
Yeah. Oh, actually, is Dell still in the
Yep,
mix?
yep.
Yeah, so
Dell is still
Dell
in the
Dell
mix,
also has Sonic. Yeah, they have
right?
Sonic.
HPE. And Dell's doing like their own version of Sonic, from what I understand.
Right. Yes.
Um, so, there, if you start with those guys and you start to kind of get them hooked in to fill in the gap,
Mhm.
because I know we did this, and um, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was with OPNFV. Didn't we do something with OPNFV at one point in time, and we were trying to do something for the central office
Mm.
at one of our summits, and we were trying to make this hybrid approach of Dell and HP gear with EdgeCore gear and a MyTac rack and like a half rack, and try to do connectivity from like the OCP stage, if I'm not mistaken. Michael, maybe you remember Heather from OPNFV was on stage, and we had that fire alarm that went off
I
in
do,
Amsterdam.
yeah, a while back, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that there could be opportunities. I'm thinking ZT Systems. I'm thinking Celestica also.
Mhm. Oh
Um,
yeah. Those are
Super
um
Micro. You
right.
know,
Right. There's tons of opportunities here. I
as
do
well.
like the ones that are the I do like the ones that are sort of, your commercials too, because there's probably more of an interest there as well. Like, yeah, Juniper, Arista. I mean, if
Mhm.
they could sell more equipment by, having an architecture that, saves the customer some money and adds more features, then yeah, I mean that's gonna be compelling.
It's a good place to start at least and say, hey, we're trying, then you have like the other ones like the Stortises of the world or the APC
Oh
networks of the
yeah,
world, APS
yeah.
networks, right? You start thinking outside of the US. So I think that there is a lot of opportunity. We just haven't tapped into it because we've been so puristic in
Yeah,
terms of our approach. It has to be OCP, and I
yeah,
don't think people are
right.
ever going to get there with pure
No,
OCP.
I've always felt this is the hybrid, and this is where, we sort of start, flying low, and getting OCP, but also working in the existing brownfield of, a real world real world network, not this,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to say
Hive,
fantasy, but like, these hyperscalers, it really is a fantasy. You go into those places, it's like, oh, wow, look at this,
well,
wow.
then you start getting into the integrators, right? You get into the Flexes of the world, you get into the Hives of the world
Yeah,
that
that's
are
right. And
addressing.
Flex, we have a good, and they've already worked on the Open Edge
Yep,
a bit. So,
and Nokia. So
mhm.
you start kind of, you end up in that weird space, which is it's not exactly enterprise, but they're calling it edge, and it's not
Mhm.
exactly edge, but they're calling it enterprise. So
Well,
just
I've been always feeling that one of those like Edge, 3U, half rack depth units would actually be a really nice, just branch in a box, where
well, yeah,
it already
exactly.
has, yeah,
It's
and then you
integrated
just drop
and
ship it, and
yep,
they put it in the store, power it up, and that's it. Your store is online,
yep. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that Target was looking for, is that they were
hmm
looking for just like a half rack that they could, use for a POC, slide under their desk, do their stuff, and then leave. you know,
Right, right. And then you have compute on board, and it's taking care of the, it's taking care of like all these different things that are at the site and need probably replacement,
hmm
the every what do they call it? It's called a payment processor, or it's basically a server that handles all the credit and all the important sensitive data. And that server, is a separate server. And yeah, if you could collapse it down, that's gonna be a win. So
yep. So just I don't know, maybe I'm just
yeah,
talking out of both sides of my mouth now, but
no, no, no. I mean,
that's the
this is
kind of
great.
stuff that I think that we should, and maybe it's worth our time to go and invite the edge guys to this and say, hey, we're looking at doing this. Have you already done it? Let's leverage what you've done and kind of just
hmm
turn it a little bit and see
hmm
if we can make it happen.
Yeah, that's yeah. I would. I've seen those resources already, and they're quite good, but again, lacking the, sort of here's how you deploy it, here's how you care and feed for it that,
Yeah.
this project could take on. And, I'm thinking that would be valuable.
Yep. I just think, yeah. So I think I've given you a lot of food for thought.
hmm Yeah, yeah. And just definitely, if you can, we could start in thread and just, kind of talk about connecting to one of these companies to get it going. That would be really helpful.
Okay, so I will take the action item to at least put you in touch with Arista and Juniper and Cisco.
hmm Yeah,
I can also
great.
do HPE and Dell because I know those guys as
Yeah.
well.
Well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I would prefer to maybe let's just start with maybe one or two, and then see how those conversations go, and we could kind of iterate, just to see what to look out for, and see feeling out how they're feeling, how they're
okay,
you know
so
yeah,
let's start internally.
yeah.
Let's
Oh, of course.
start with Flex because Jim Nelson also works on
Jim
Edge.
Nelson, of course. Yeah.
So let's maybe connect those two dots internally, and then let me see what I can do with HPE, because we have an in there as well, with Jean-Marie.
Yes,
And
Jean
see where we,
Marie. Yes. So HPE. Let me think. So they're. I'm trying to think if they have networking Oh, that's right. They have their whole HP Aruba
Mhm.
setup that might work in a situation like this.
And if it's not them, then let's think between HPE and Dell. I can put you in touch with both. Maybe Dell's closer to
Yeah,
Simon.
I know. I've deployed Dell in a
Okay.
space that you could take that and go OCP type software on it, because again it's like x86, and it's just basically a server that happens to do network stuff. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Well, sorry, I didn't mean
fantastic.
to take over your call here.
You did not. You did not. That's. I mean, it's some of the Steam and going forward type of things that it's great. I need it. So, and we need
Okay.
it. So yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and get at least Dell and what do you call it, Flex started. Maybe Jeff can work with Celestica and the folks that he might know
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah.
other places, and then we'll go from
Yeah.
there.
Cool. Yeah, because Jeff, is Celestica the ODM for EdgeCore?
No, they're competitors in that
Oh,
space.
okay. Huh, okay. Yeah, all right. Um, yeah, good. Okay, so that's really all I got. I'll just kind of reiterate some of the things that we talked about. Again, we want to get these working sessions kicked off. Going to target doing one a month to start with. I have a number of topics, as you mentioned, Jeff. Architecture, that's definitely one of the topics. And I have my artifacts, that I can bring to the table, and certainly a call to action, and I can as well send an email to a mailing list, but also bring your own artifacts, if you can. That's helpful as well. And we would also like to try to see if we can shadow a deployment this year, in order to maybe take some of that output from the working sessions and shore it up. And the last piece would be the potential for a lab to develop some of these things. And
So we do have a lab.
Okay. Where is it in the Bay?
No. Well, yes and no. Rajiv Sharma from OCP is working on two labs. One will be closer in Seattle. It's with a company called Actapio, and they're a division of Yahoo, I believe.
Okay.
Is it Yahoo? God, Michael.
The Tapio sounds familiar. Why do I know the name?
Yeah, I think that's the name. I'm not sure on the spelling.
Actapio is based out of Seattle area. And they are 100% subsidiary of Yahoo Japan. So that's what
Yahoo Japan. Okay.
So they are giving us some space for hosting OCP gear. Now we're trying to see if we could do, obviously it would be great if we could do like an open rack in there, but if we can't, then we're open to possibly edge, like, open edge, or a half rack for enterprise. And so that's an option, right? It's not too far away from us. It's still on the West Coast, but I can put you in touch with Rajiv. And this would be more, I would look at this more for
I got to reach out to Rajiv anyway, so that's perfect.
So that's one. And again, because it's a Tapio and because it's YJ, I would think that there would be more of an interest to do enterprise and edge. The other lab is being sponsored by Meta. And of course, that's going to be more heavily data center centric. I think it's going to be in Austin and not here.
Right, they do have that big delivery center down there, right?
Yeah, so, but again, I think that that's going to be more data center, traditional data center focused, just because it is Meta. So those are two options. Now he's working on making that happen. So if you wanted to talk to him about opportunities for edge or enterprise in there, that would be a good place to start. And you know, you never know. We might be able to work with Microsoft on the edge, right? They have stores. They kind of, you know, Amazon Go is there too. So maybe that would be another opportunity to work with Amazon stores and look at them from an enterprise perspective. Another option, and Jeff, you had started pioneering this when we first talked about ECS, which was working with Amazon on Project Dent. So maybe this could be a three-way collaboration between OCP, Dent, and Amazon.
Yep.
What is it called? It's called Project
Dent, DENT, Distributed Enterprise.
It's called Project N or something, or
Dent.
Oh, Project Dent. Okay, Project Dent. Okay.
And I believe it's under LF right now, Linux Foundation, but it's headed up by Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
They were the sponsor. Yeah, Amazon was the original sponsor for the Linux Foundation for Dent. There's multiple companies involved on the Linux Foundation for it, and they have their first release out on the GitHub, so it's all public and open source. It's a NOS for the enterprise, targeted at the enterprise.
Yeah. So that might be an option too, Jack, is take a look at our lab, and since it's in Amazon's backyard, and if they're looking for a way to host it, maybe we could do some three-way collaboration, right? With OCP gear and maybe Dent running on it, right? That NOS running on it.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, you're solving my problems as soon as I come up with them. So it's great. Thank you.
So from a lab perspective, that's there. From an reference architecture perspective, I think that there is opportunities there for us to talk about, you know, how we can work together with some of the bigger companies. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is there is an organization called ONUG, Open Networking User Group. And it's a pretty large organization, and OCP is getting ready to work with them on their event that they're putting together.
Oh yeah. ONUG, I have been trying to get to ONUG for years now.
Okay.
But I've never made it. Yeah.
So we have supposedly, I don't think it's inked yet, but we are going to get an OCP pavilion at ONUG.
Ah, great.
And
that would be great.
So what we're trying to do is demonstrate possible sustainability with IT Renew, you know, the use of SmartNIC and AI acceleration with, you know, our NIC 3.0 and our OAI efforts. There might be something to do with ArcOS and Target there in terms of doing something for the enterprise and remote management.
I know Target goes to ONUG, so yeah.
Right. And then maybe we could talk about IP infusion or, you know, UFI space or something like that. And that might be something to work with Cisco on too, is that Cisco goes there too. And it's primarily for the fintech and the retail market, which is the ideal market for what we're trying to do here. So if we had an RA that we could publish prior to ONUG's conference, it would be something that we could talk about there.
Yeah. What is the oh no, what do you know when it is?
Yeah, they usually have two. They have a
Oh,
spring and a fall,
really?
and the spring is in April, I want to say.
Oh yeah, April's
Yeah,
time.
27th and 28th, and it's in New Jersey.
Oh, well, great. I got family there. Great.
Yeah, they're gonna do it in Secaucus at the
Yeah,
Meadowlands Expo
Secaucus.
Center.
Yeah,
Yep.
familiar. All right.
So we're gonna do that there. They're expecting about, 5,000 people. It's supposed to happen in person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's what's happening in the spring. And then, if we have something more, it could be a continuing thing, right? They could
Yeah.
come to our summit and we could come to their summit. And there could be opportunities there where if we have these reference architectures, Jack, then we could work with the enterprise groups at ONUG to talk about, okay, what are your requirements? And then we work
Yeah.
on some sort of a hybrid, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's got to be the right people there for sure. Yeah, that's got to be a lot of enterprise
Mhm.
folks there.
Exactly. So I think that would,
Brilliant.
there's a lot of opportunities. I think that if we kind of put our heads together, we should be able to figure it out.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, and you try a bunch of things out, and hopefully one of them works out. Right?
Exactly.
That's how
Something
you make
sticks, and
that's how you make progress. So.
Mhm. So
Right.
I gave you a lot of food for thought.
No, this has been great. Thank you. Yeah, and yeah, keep me in the loop with that one as well, ONUG, and just I would be available most likely to make an attendance. I have family there, so I have good reason to go also. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah. Glad I could help.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got. So we should wrap this up. Does anybody else have anything they want to bring up the last few minutes? Okay. Well, take silence as a good thing. So yeah, we will meet again in 2 weeks' time, and hopefully by then have a schedule hashed out for these working sessions, and it'll probably be the intra week between meetings. So
Okay.
thanks everybody for attending. Appreciate it.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.